Hey everybody, it's Sean and Trey with Reactions to the Classics. Before we get started today, we just wanted to invite you to take a look at our Patreon page where we have all kinds of reward tiers, anywhere from reacting to an entire album to songs, and to supporting us for as little as $1 a month. It really helps us out.
And you can also check out our Facebook and Discord groups down below. Got a great community of people who love music. And all that to say, y'all, let's get to today's video. What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined again by my dad, Sean, and today at Reactions to the Classics, we're going to be taking a look at Sunflower by the Beach Boys. Shout out to our dude, our patron, Josh Davis.
Josh, great guy, man. One of our favorite guys in the whole community.
Oh,
man.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward because we've done Pet Sounds.
We have.
But that's it.
That's it, man.
Beach Boys. So, and this had some Pet Sounds-esque type of tunes on here, so I was happy to hear that. And I guess we'll just get into the quick facts before we get going track by track.
Yeah, and there's a lot of story behind this album. It's the 16th studio album released in August of 1970 by Reprise Records, their first album for Reprise Records, but it was a commercial flop. 151 in the US, 39 in the UK. They still had one record left with Capitol Records, but by this time the Beach Boys had totally fallen off commercially, just in the time from Pet Sounds to now. You know, you're only talking about 3 years, 4 years, but so they ended up giving them a live album because Capitol didn't like any of their stuff in the studio. The previous albums had not sold real well, so that kind of brings us to this. They recorded over 30 songs for this album. They kept taking them to Reprise, and Reprise kept saying, not really, which is crazy when you think about how popular the Beach Boys were just a few years before. Now the record label, and even one of the record execs said years later, like, we really didn't have any right to turn down anything they brought us. That really wasn't in the contract, but just kept making them bring it back. One of the big problems was, of course, Brian. Brian had started using cocaine, became famous in music circles for his eccentric and just odd behavior.
Kind of a recluse.
Recluse, so no one wanted to touch them. So it took him forever to even get this deal with Reprise Records. This is the first album where they all wrote songs for it, and it's only Beach Boys written stuff, so that was also a change.
Yeah, exactly, because obviously Pet Sounds was just pretty much a Brian project through and through. So here it was interesting to see what the other members had to bring forth and kind of shine through. There were some nice gems. And
you know, and 2 singles were issued before the album's release, Add Some Music to Your Day and Slip On Through. Reprise was so excited about Add Some Music to Your Day, they convinced retailers to carry more copies of it than they ever had for any Reprise single, but disc jockeys refused to play it on the radio, and it peaked at 64 in the US, while Slip On Through didn't even chart. But despite its poor sales, the UK press compared it to Sgt. Pepper's, which I think this is a really good album. It might be stretching a little bit, but we're going to go to the first tune,
Slip On Through, and this is led by a guy that really impressed me throughout this record, Dennis Wilson. And we start off, you can already tell there's a little bit more maturity in that sound.
That's a good word.
The harmonies, those characteristic harmonies are present throughout the whole record, and that's no exception on this opening tune. I really enjoyed it. Dennis is telling this girl that you're not going to regret the feeling you have if you kind of let me love you, essentially.
Yeah, I thought it was very strong vocally and instrumentally. A fantastic way to start this album. It's actually one of my favorites on here.
Good choice as a single as well.
Agreed. I'm surprised it didn't have any footing. That brings us to This Whole World. It's written by Brian. Carl sings the lead vocals while Brian sings in the background. Their vocals were double tracked and was released as a single. It did not even chart. Brian talked about writing this song just out of the feeling. He said it was highly spiritual for him. Just the feeling that the whole world needed to be about love. And so that's kind of where he was coming from in this.
Yeah, and this was recorded in one session at Brian's home studio in November of '69. Brian noted that he produced the record. He taught Carl how he wanted him to sing the lead, and then the other guys the backing vocals here. There's a particular set of lines that I enjoy. When girls get mad at boys and go, many times they're just putting on a show, but when they leave, you wait alone. Isn't that the truth? Whenever somebody's just going away just for a kind of a show, well, even if they're not quote-unquote mad, you're still left alone. So I thought that was a good point. And we had a nice like interjection of a joyous melody in here that contrasted well with like the baritone and bass harmonies in the back. So this was a pretty darn good tune.
Yeah, I wrote everything out of that. I put instrumentally nicely done and nice harmony. So I agree with you there. That's going to bring us to add some music to your day. And I mean, the idea of this, and it was really well written in the fact that music is kind of that common denominator, interwoven throughout our lives, you know, and it talks about that from, you know, the doctor's office to where everywhere we are, there's music. There's playing in the background in stores, just everything you think of at a marriage, at a funeral, at a dentist, everywhere. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing, that music, whether you like it or not, it unites us all because it is everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. And the lines that really bring that home. Music when you're alone is like a companion for your lonely soul. That might have been my favorite line on the entire record because it rings so true. Unlike other mediums of entertainment, if I don't want to watch movies, I can escape that. Or
exactly.
TV, or read a book. But music, just for all the things you mentioned, it's a part of everything. The most high points of our lives, from weddings to some of the saddest moments at funerals to everything in between. So, you know, obviously we're big music lovers on the channel, and I think this is a theme song for any music lover out there. So great job by the Beach Boys.
And impressive that they all shared in the lyrics on this one.
Exactly.
On singing, on the vocals.
Yeah, that was a unique touch as well that made it stand out from the other tunes on here. And we'll move now to track number 4.
Got to Know the Woman, another one written by Dennis. He loves how she looks. He's infatuated with her, to say the least. Lyrics, I think, Trey, are a little cheesy. It's very different musically, at least. It's not great for me, but at least it's different.
Yeah, we had almost like some waltz-like piano in here. I'm with you. This was definitely the weakest to this point. Just kind of basic and uninteresting compared to the first 3 tunes. Then that takes us to track number 5 at DEIRDRE. This was written by Bruce Johnston and Brian. Johnston explained that he wrote all the music for the song, started writing the lyrics with Brian, although that's not his strong point, so a little jab at Brian there.
Yeah.
Then Johnston noted that DEIRDRE was kind of his song, split it 50-50 with him, but really it was 99% my baby. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing here Brian contributed a lyric, or
lyric or two,
maybe 3 words, I don't know, but instead of fighting it, he just gave it to him. Basically, this girl went away. He's just happy that she's back. Very weird. There should be DEIRDRE, but the way they pronounce it, DEIRDRE, it's very strange. Never heard such a thing, but
yeah, I enjoyed it. We had like a vibraphone in there and like a string arrangement. Definitely had that Pet Sounds-esque type of production.
Nice harmonies, is kind of a broken record, so to speak, on here. But
a definite step up to the previous tune here, and got us kind of right back on that road. And then we finish off this A side with track 6.
It's About Time. This is written by Dennis Al Jardine and Bob Birchman, about the pitfalls of stardom and fame. Kind of seems somewhat autobiographical to me, Trey. Very different musically. Vocals are okay, but the instrumentation does a great job of building the mood on this one.
Yeah, and here we have Carl and Mike Love on lead vocals. And speaking of the instrumentation, we have like a conga in there. Gave it a little bit of a world music type of vibe at some instances, so it really stood out on this record for that reason. We got a line in there. Little did I know the joy I was to find in knowing I am only me. I think that at the end of the day, just he came to the realization that no matter what's going on in the world, at the end, yourself is... You gotta live with yourself at the when it's all said and done, and come to grips with that. So solid way to end off the A side, and then we go to one of my favorite tunes on this record.
Mine too. That's interesting.
To start off the B side, in Tears in the Morning.
This one was written by Bruce Johnston. Vocals are okay. The production and ambiance are really good. It's a story of this woman who left him, went to Europe. It's going to have his baby, I'm assuming, that he's never going to see, and he is just wallowing in this, and you can put yourself in this guy's position, man. That's why I very much enjoyed it. It's not really critically acclaimed, so I'm surprised you said it's one of your favorite too. It's definitely a standout for me.
Talk about melancholy. We have backing vocals in here as well that just add to that. They say, I've got tears, and then throughout the verses he's asking, are you gone? Are you going to be gone forever?
Yeah.
He's still
feel his pain,
holding out that hope. So I think this was just a wonderful tune and a definite standout.
And I think it's at a different level, because obviously if she's not his wife, she's very close to her. They're having a baby together. Like, you know, it's not the girl left me and maybe she'll come back. Like, it's at a different level, and I think that's why it kind of resonates with you.
That moves us to All I Want to Do. This was written by Brian and Mike. We have a lush backing chorus that grows in intensity along with the love expressed in the lyric. You have a nice counter melody and a foundational bass line. All that to say, I thought the production here was fantastic.
It was.
The way the voices were layered to really bring out the most in each person's singing.
Yeah, basically just wants her to know that, you know, he loves her. And I don't know, it's fine for me. You know, I read a lot. This song is really hyped up, and if you're a Beach Boys fan, you may love it. I mean, I like it. It's fine, but people put it on the level of God Only Knows, and
yeah, I wouldn't do that.
You know, that it's the next step up from that, and I'm like, no. But I mean, that's a big level to be put on. But yeah, for me, it was fine.
Yeah, I had a bit more of a psychedelic twinge to it, and I thought it was a pretty good track, though I wouldn't put it up at that level as some of the other people would. And then that moves us into the next tune,
Forever. It's another one where the lead vocals by Dennis. He wrote it with his close friend Greg Jacobson. Brian declared Forever has to be the most harmonically beautiful thing I've ever heard. It's a rock and roll prayer. The violins were actually played on a Chamberlain. He's going away, wants her to know his love for her is forever, and he spells his forever love out throughout the song. Great harmonies. I wouldn't hype it up to the level that Brian did by any means, but I get why you would do that. But it's a pretty good offering.
Yeah, there's the awesome lyricism in here saying that if what I say can make you laugh, then I talk forever, you know, something along those lines. And you could just tell the tenderness to the music here really fit with that love song, which love's been the predominant theme pretty much in every single tune, save for a couple on here. And I mean, that's the Beach Boys wheelhouse. They know what to do.
It is.
Do it well, and I enjoyed this track.
Our Sweet Love. Speaking of everything is about love, it's 4 verses, and all it does throughout the whole thing is spell out his love for her. There's also reworking of the Friends outtake, Our Happy Home. For me, this one was just okay.
Yeah, and the strings here, along with the soft and sweet voice of Carl, really, again, just fit that loving, tender nature, and it was just a delightful 2 minutes and 40 seconds of pop. And then we go into, we shift from the love theme to a peculiar theme here.
Thank you.
With At My Window. And here we have like some French lyrics. We have, and the subject matter, tell us what the subject matter is.
It's about a bird, man. It's seriously about a bird. It's bird at the window, man. We hear bird sounds in here and stuff. Yeah, it was very strange to me. There's 12 tracks on here, and it's like, if you go through here and go, which one doesn't fit, it's really the last 2 tracks.
Yeah, and the French lyrics, as I read here, say, the sparrow came to rest at my window. I mean, I will note that though it wasn't like my favorite tune or anything, it was a bit whimsical, kind of fit.
The harmonies were really nice, very well produced.
We had like a harmonium and organ in here as well, so it at least differentiated itself, as did the closing tune, one of the few ones that Brian really contributed on.
Yeah, Cool Cool Water.
Also the longest track.
By far over 5 minutes long. It was written by Brian, and Mike later on came in and added a few lyrics to it. Came from an earlier composition, I Love to Say Dada. First attempted in June of 1967 and October of 67 during the sessions for the Smiley Smile and Wild Honey albums. Brian said he's proud of it because it's a divinely inspired song. He just moved into a new house in Bel Air. There was a piano there. He went over there and wrote the majority of it on the first day. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It's about cool, cool water. You hear water effects in there and stuff.
In there.
Yeah.
Lyrics fit the aquatic theme. You got a minute of like upbeat tunes before it goes into a haze a little bit. We get some whooshes. And
there's a lot going on instrumentally, musically.
It was a bit odd to be the closer here.
I agree 100%.
But that's not to say I didn't like the tune. It was just different compared to everything else on the record here, and you could definitely tell this was a Brian creation.
You could. It was nicely done. It's great production and all of that good stuff.
And then that'll take us to our favorite tracks. For me, it's going to be Tears in the Morning, Forever, and I also enjoyed Add Some Music to Your Day and Our Sweet Love.
I like Slip Through.
Oh, yes.
It's About Time and Tears in the Morning. So we kind of have some different favorites here, so that shows you it's a pretty darn good album. And on that note, what's your overall score?
Well, for me, I really enjoyed this record. The sound it was bringing forth, I definitely could feel some Pet Sounds vibes at certain points here. The harmonies were on on top notch. And I just enjoyed a lot of these tunes, man. Most of them didn't overstay their welcome. I mean, it's like 35, 36 minutes and
for 12 songs. Yeah, it's great.
So it goes along at a pretty brisk pace. So I'm feeling a nice 8.25 on this.
Well, I'm going to be right there with you. I'm at an 8.0. I think this is one on further listens. The score would probably go up for me. I very much enjoyed this. It was definitely different Beach Boys stuff than what I knew. I think it does sort of build on Pet Sounds, but I think it kind of goes to a different sound than Pet Sounds. I think it's actually a good thing in my book. We're 4 years down the line, so really appreciate you bringing this one to us, Josh.
Oh, absolutely. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that big thumbs up button as well as that big red subscribe button. Let us know what you think of Sunflower down in the comments below. As always, Dad, appreciate the research. Looking forward to more Beach Boys stuff in the future. And until next time, y'all, thank you for watching, happy listening, and we will see ya.